All right, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, I'm trying to do this old video here. Let's see if we can't dial this up a little bit. It's just artificially bright. It's not as bright as it looks right there, as I just put them pieces in. But behind it is really hot. That's what I'm trying to say. And people were asking, they made comments, they're not really asking, they just made comments, as that pine cannot burn like over 600 degrees, and some said 900. Y'all are wrong. I'm sorry. Pine can burn as hot as you allow it to have air. This gasifier, it's a gasification. It's changing the wood at about 600 degrees into gas, burning the gas in the thimble, that the ceramic lined flue that comes up out of here, and then it hits the top of the combustion chamber, and that's where all the action actually happens, is up in here, up in this section. That's what I'm going to try to get you a picture of. But let's see if I can't do this right now. It should be just a little bit like an orange color, I guess. Here we go. See? Now this is normally filled with sand, and that sand on top of it, that's why you're not seeing it like really clean and clear. But that's glowing red. I mean, that's true, nice, pretty red. Right, about 9 to 1100 degrees kind of red. That's stainless steel. That's not mild steel. The reason that I said that this had to be stainless is because of that. That's the temperature that it's burning at. And it's maintaining that. If it wasn't for the sand on top of the combustion chamber, it'd be just bright, I mean, even whiter, a whiter kind of red. There's a, let me sit back down, y'all, so I don't crash. What it is right about in here in the front. When I cleaned it out and there was perlite in that ceramic mix in there, well, there was holes, gaps, and I knew I was going to backfill this with sand, and so I said, well, what could possibly them little bitty holes hurt? The sand is going to plug it up. No, it's not. It is the heat, that heat that was in there glowing like that, is it pushed force on the sand, and it dries it out to a dust, and because of the heat. And so any amount of hole is the sand finds its way through, and it'll come through here in the ash pan from this side, and then I dig it out. And right now I'm just letting it drain the sand out, and then I'm going to go get a bag of kitty litter and use a couple handfuls to line the bottom, because the clay doesn't have the same property as sand. Put the clay in first, and then put the weight of the sand in on top of it, and it should fix that, is what I'm trying to get at. It doesn't limit the stove's ability to like re-radiate. Now it will. Now the bottom of this is actually, let me see if I can't show you that. I showed it in other videos. If you can see, there's an air gap. The inner chamber is superheating air that's feeding back into this thing. So the air it's getting on top is actually, well in excess of 600 degrees. Enough to turn the wood into fuel just with air temperature. It's burning quite hot. It doesn't need a door. It never blows smoke outward. It can't physically. Is when all this fuel and air is being pulled through, and it goes through that tiny thimble. The thimble's much smaller than this pipe here. It's like a torch tip. That it's taking fuel in excess of air, and that's exactly what a torch tip does, and then it allows it to burn much hotter than what it would normally burn. And like I said, the red that on stainless steel turning red is you're in excess of 1100 degrees, in that range. And it turns much brighter red than that. Is the camera's not doing it any justice, is what I'm trying to get at. And you're seeing way too much light from this, and it's actually not very bright, is what I'm trying to get at. So camera's definitely not doing it justice. But I'm gonna leave it go at that, y'all. But that is how it achieves the temperatures, and it really does get that hot. And that's not just by accident or nothing like that. Because like now the fire is cooling off. You can hear the temperature difference. And it's only getting hotter, not colder. That's what I'm trying to say. And I had just put the wood in, and so I wanted to show you the fire so I didn't have to stand right next to it while it's glowing like this. But because it is kind of warm up there, but like I said, we're going to fix that and repack it with sand, and then it works even better. It is a tremendous concept in energy conservation or energy management, is what you should call it, because it does use a very low capability fuel and then changes it into what it does, and that's why it doesn't smoke, it doesn't make creosote, it doesn't do any of that. It's like a perpetual self-cleaning oven. That's how you got to look at it. And if I could get a picture of the thimble that's in there, that dude glows just crystalline like white. I mean, for ceramics, that should be somewhere close to 2,000 degrees, but it cannot be, is what I'm trying to get at. I don't have any way to measure it. If I did, I would. If any of y'all rich people want to donate me a laser, a probe that can go over 2,000 degrees, a lot of them go less. You know, I need one that goes over. I'll measure it, but it burns as white hot as the inside of that stove through that thimble. It's quite unique. Okay, I'm going to leave it long-winded, and I just told somebody at one time I was going to show the picture that it really does turn stainless steel cherry red, and they said it could not because it was pine. Well, haha, yes, it is. But see, a lot of people back home, they wouldn't put one piece of pine in their flue in fear of creosote in Arkansas. You couldn't sell pine if you tried. And it's really not the fuel, it's just the lack of air. It's what you're doing when you're choking the fire down. You can't do that part. You got to give it all the air it can because there's so much fuel potential in the wood that it just doesn't burn hot enough. The chain reaction doesn't maintain until you have a gasifier like this. And then the gasifier is maintaining the chain reaction, not the fuel. So, all right, y'all, long-winded, and I'm going to let you go. Talk to you then. Bye.